Shalom, shalom from Yerushalayim to Atlanta. It's Sivan, Rahav, Meir. Thank you very much for the opportunity to participate, to be part of that fascinating Yom Yun. Sounds like you really thought, okay, about great ways to uplift ourselves, to think about new thoughts, new ideas toward the upcoming year, Tafshin Pei Aleph, holidays, Rosh Hashanah, Slichot, Yom Kippur. So Toda Rabah. I remember your beautiful community, your beautiful shul. I guess it's not so full and crowded as I remember it. And I remember the beautiful weekend, beautiful Shabbat we spent together. And I learned a lot. Rabbi Feldman, Rabbi Tendler, the members of the community. And I think in a way, after this really challenging year, I'm not an expert, I'm not a rebbetzin, I'm not a professor. I'm just a mother and a journalist here in Israel. And I think maybe sharing the three most important stories I heard during that period, I think that will be helpful. I collect those stories, by the way. Here in Israel, on Israeli TV, I speak a lot about what we call in Hebrew, Museon HaKorona. Museon HaKorona, meaning COVID-19 museum. I guess one day this museum will be opened. Here in Israel, it will be the Jewish Israeli COVID-19 museum. I wish we will end that period, and we will be able to look back and start talking about what we have been through, because now we're in the middle of that crisis. But one day this museum will be open, and I started sharing it with people. What do you think will we show there? What will we present? How will we tell our kids or our grandchildren? What will we tell them about this period? And people started sending me all kinds of materials and pictures and photos and things they did and special prayers or weddings or bar mitzvot, all kind of weird things, that are happening right now. And they also started sending me stories. So the videos, that you can see on Israeli TV or on my Facebook page. But the stories, I can't share it in a news program, news show. I can't say, okay, now I want to share a story. So where will I share it? Now, here with you. I collect those stories since I think we're facing an incredible challenge, huge challenge, and we're in a way creating new types of mesirut nefesh, of self-devotion. Think about our history. Look back for thousands of years. Our ancestors, they always had to keep, to be connected to our tradition with lots of devotion, lots of sacrifice. And now what? Everything is easy, cozy, nice. Everything is accessible and available in Israel, in the States. We live in democracies, Baruch Hashem. So we thought, mesirut nefesh, those two words, they belong to really ancient times. What do we have to do with mesirut nefesh? Hashem showed us during this year, yes, mesirut nefesh, it's relevant right here, right now. What we're doing, I know the way you daven with social distance and mask, and people sometimes they don't even come, and everything you do, everything we do here, shows our love and our, I would say, passion. Because it's not so easy as it was in the past. So those three stories, I think we can emphasize the three values that are so important, especially if we try to improve ourselves and to restart things during this new year. The first story is from New York. I believe, in a way, it may change your life, since every time I share it, usually I do it here in Israel in Hebrew, but every time I share it, I tell people, okay, tell me, what did you do after you heard that story? And people send me back so many letters, emails, with their decisions after they heard the story. So listen, first story is about Chesed. It happened in New York, closer to you. It happened in New York during Leil Seder. I think it was in Brooklyn, I guess. An old widow had to celebrate the Seder night, Leil Seder, all by herself, completely isolated, alone, since, what you've been through during Leil Seder. So she was quite upset, and she couldn't invite the kids or the great-grandchildren, no one. And her father, her husband, passed away. She was widow, and then she thought, okay, what will I do? Her neighbor asked her, he told her, listen, we live, the same flat, two apartments, one flat. I will open the door, and you will be able at the same floor, you will be able to listen to our Leil Seder. So you will be able to hear what's going on and feel like you're part of it. She agreed, obviously. And it was very nice. The next day, the first day of Chol Hamoed, her son calls her. And he says, Mommy, how was your Lela Seder? And she says, it was great, incredible. Why? You know, that neighbor, he sings, he speaks, everything he does is according to our nusach, our minhagim, our version of the Seder, our customs, our nigunim, the way we do everything was according to what like your Abba, like Abba did. Everything is the same. It was so exciting to listen to that version of the Seder. It was like for me, it was something so special. And her son says, Oh, mommy, now I understand. A week ago, that neighbor called me and he asked me to record our nusach, our version of Leila Seder. I sent him a file. I had no idea he's gonna sit and learn it by heart. I guess this neighbor was quite busy, like all of us before this crazy, unusual Leila Seder. He had other things to prepare for, but no, he sat and learned it by heart in order to make that widow happy. Lesameach lev almana. That's what he did. That's the end of the story. Money is not involved. A lot of time, no. Efforts, energy. Just thinking in a creative way. How can I help others? I think this story shows us what kind of chesed is needed right now. Because we have ordinary chesed. I guess I would do, I would open the door. If I would live, if I had this neighbor, I would say, okay, we'll open the door, listen to our Seder. But would I change my Seder in order to help her? Would I think about it? I don't have time. I don't have, it takes, it's not just giving money or opening the door, donating something. It means creating creative chesed. It's hard, but it's much, I think it's really needed right now. It's urgent in a way. People need all kinds of things right now. We don't even have a clue. Okay, we should think and look at things like changing the perspective, new glasses, looking at things from their eyes to see what they need right now. And this story, as I said, I share it with many people, and it creates new types of creative chesed. People sometimes they don't want to take money for free before the Chagim. They want to feel appreciated. They have their self-esteem. Okay, you should find creative ways of giving them, donating the money. We have projects like this here in Israel. People need all kinds of things. Sometimes they just need our heart, our ear, just need us to listen, smile, patient, energy, phone call, WhatsApp message. It means everything sometimes. Creative chesed. That's, I think, the first pillar, the first value. And I wish we can improve that field during Tafshin Pei Aleph. Now to the second story. And I think this value is maybe even more important. And the second value is Torah. And once again, when I opened this COVID-19 museum, there's no real museum, It exists on my, on social media. But yeah, whenever I talk about it, people send me all kinds of, reply with so many stories. The second story is from Odessa, Ukraine. Chaya Wolf and her husband, Harav Avraham Wolf, they're Shlichei Chabad there for years. She's a friend of mine. And Chaya told me this fascinating small stories. As I said, these are tiny things, no miracles, nothing is extreme, no wow. Small things, but they make a difference. So Chaya told me that before Chag Shavuot, remember, where it's hard to think about it, but Pesach, Shavuot, and now Rosh Hashanah, all the Chagim have 6 months already with that thing going on, still here. So Shavuot, we thought it will end until Rosh Hashanah. But during Shavuot, she realized that at the beginning of Sivan, she realized they can't open the shul like they used to. They wanted to invite all the kids to listen to Aseret HaDibrot. When you listen to the 10 Commandments, you're connected. You become part of that commitment. But no, they can't do it. Especially kids are not invited now to shuls, as you know. So they decided to build a new shul just for the Chag, a new shul on the sidewalk, on the pavement, something they built out of wood and plastic and all kinds of ingredients they had, all kinds of things they had. They built it on, outside of their Chabad house, something very wide and very weird, but it was there built, and they wrote Chag Shavuot Sameach. You're invited to come in to join us, to listen to Aseret HaDibrot, and to be part of receiving the Torah, Chag Matan Torah. 2 Jews from Ukraine, Odessa, Ukraine, knocked on their door. They entered and they told Chaya, Chag Sukkot Sameach, Chag Sukkot Sameach, Happy Sukkot. She's like, what? And they said, you just built a sukkah. We love Sukkot. Thank you, sukkah. She looked at them, stared at them, and she said, wow, they really think it's Sukkot. They don't have a clue. They don't know, is it Sukkot or Shavuot? Is it Tishrei or is it Sivan? Which month is it? What's going on here? They don't have any knowledge about their heritage. All they know is they saw something made out of wood, plastic, I don't know, something that is not permanent, and they said, this temporary thing is probably a sukkah, Chag Sukkot Sameach. That's it. That's all they know. And in a way, she told me, I realized how enormous is the challenge to teach people Torah. They are there for 20 or 30 years already. They thought they did a lot, and they did a lot with the local Jewish community. But the mission, the task is much bigger. Think about it. We have millions of brothers and sisters out there. They don't even know that it's Rosh Hashanah now, Yom Kippur. Maybe they think now it's Shavuot, since they already celebrated Sukkot. I thought about it afterwards. If they thought it's Sukkot, so where were they during Rosh Hashanah, during Yom Kippur? Okay, how do they see that circle, the year? So I thought about it, but I took this story. I asked Chaya her permission to quote it, but then I said, why do you need to quote someone from Ukraine? You just came back from the States. And that's true. I want to share personally. We just came back a few months ago. Me, my husband Yedidia, and our 5 kids. We went on Shlichut. World Mizrahi Movement sent us to a year. It was supposed to be even 2 years. We thought of 2 years in New York. It was called World Mizrahi Shluchim to North America. And we lived there for a few months, and that 9 months almost. And the kids went to American schools. We, living in a Jewish community, 5 towns, by the way, North Woodmere. And we were all over the place, Baruch Hashem. We visited Jews in Montreal and Toronto, in Dallas and Memphis, LA, Florida, Maryland, Jersey, Washington. So many, communities, so many people, so many schools and shuls and federations and campuses and organizations. It was fascinating. It was meaningful for us. I hope for them too. But it ended, poof, in a minute. We escaped in a way. Yeah, we realized just before the Last Seder, we realized we should go back home, be in Israel right now. It's safer, and that's what we did. We just packed. El Al already stopped all the flights. So we packed in 12 hours, and we came back here to be quarantined during Leila Seder. We also had a special Leila Seder. But so why am I sharing this story? After Chaya Wolf told me what's going on with the Jews in Ukraine, I was shocked. Oh, they know nothing. We must help those former Soviet Union Jews. No. We must help. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not polite to say it, but I'm an Israeli. Maybe it's not polite. We must help the Jews in Manhattan. We must help the Jews in New Jersey. We must help the Jews in Miami. It's not Ukraine. It's us in the States and also in Israel. You have Jews who know nothing about their identity in our neighborhoods too. It's easy to say, oh, the Jews of Ukraine. I met Jews in Manhattan. I remember one story. It's even harder than the story from Ukraine. I remember at the end of a lecture in Manhattan, this professor came to me, private practice, you can Google his name. I won't tell you the name. Very rich, very successful, Jewish American professor, doctor, like medicine, and very intellectual. And he comes with a piece of paper, and he wrote the letter X on it. X. And he comes and he shows me this X. And I'm like, okay, what do you want? And he's, look, X. Aleph. And I'm like, okay. Aleph, yeah, what? And he's like, that's what I know. I know Hebrew. Aleph. And I'm like, okay, that's what he knows. Aleph, that's it. And I asked him, do you know what the bet is? Base, I tried in your Ivris. Base, bet, vet, nothing. I take the paper and I draw the letter bet, and I show him. I doubled his Jewish knowledge in 2 seconds. And he's like, bet, good. How miserable. Think about his intellectual level, academic level, financial level, so high. Think about his Jewish level. Nothing. Aleph, that's all. I guess he's already a grandfather. Aleph, what do you give? What can you give? What can you donate? What do you teach the next generation if the grandfather only knows Aleph? We have millions of brothers and sisters out there. In a way, after living almost a year with the Jewish community, I must tell you, I felt sometimes like I live in a bubble, a beautiful bubble, very active, very engaged, but very committed. But it's a bubble. It represents the minority of the Jewish population. And it's a beautiful bubble. Don't get me wrong. OU and YU, NCSY and gap years, camps during the summer, tuition, very good bubble, very successful bubble. Good for you for building it. But we must bring new Jews into this bubble. Just imagine every Jew would pick one unaffiliated Jew. And the majority, the big stream in America is that's the 40% sometimes. It depends who asks, what's the statistics. But it's a huge group of unaffiliated Jews. They don't care. They don't belong. They are not connected to anything. If we could just choose one and draw them into our beautiful bubble, make them affiliated, make them connected, make them know when is Rosh Hashanah and when is Shavuot and what's the difference and what's the meaning, I think we will improve the whole world. Be'ezrat Hashem. So that's the second thing. And once again, we need to find creative ways. Just like I said about Chesed, when it comes to Torah, creative ways, especially now when we can't gather, we can be together. Huge events or even small events aren't recommended. To find new ways to be in touch with someone, just one soul. Think about creative ways to make them more connected. Take it as new decision, new Kabbalah, a new Hachlata for Tafshin Pei Aleph. That's the second thing I wanted to share. From Ukraine to New York. First story, the last story, the third story is about you. About you and us. About the third pillar, Israel. I'm standing here in Yerushalayim. You see the wall, the stones. And in a way, I know how much you miss Yerushalayim. I know. I speak to communities over the world through Zoom. I remember one community, they even asked me at the end. I asked them, do you have any questions? And then one of the ladies raised their hands and she said, are you in Yerushalayim? Can you show us Yerushalayim? So I took this simple camera, I turned it toward the window, and I just showed her 3 trees. It was night here in Yerushalayim. So all she saw was the moon, maybe a few stars, our balcony, and 2 trees. That's all. She almost cried. Thank you. She said, thank you. I really needed that. And I was like, okay. That was the peak, the highlight of that lecture, just showing people Eretz Israel. So you're seeing Eretz Israel right now, okay? And you are connected to Eretz Israel right now. And I know how much you need it. You're used to come. You come all the time. I mean, on Pesach and Shavuot and July, August, summer vacation, Chagim, high holidays. You know what? Israel misses you too. I see it. Whenever I go, not only when I go to the Western Wall, to the Kotel, even when I'm on Machne Yehuda's market, I feel, where are the English speakers? Where are the French, German? Where are all the languages? Where are all the tourists? Where are all the Jews? Our brothers and sisters. You're part of that city, part of that pulse, and you're not here. The gates are locked, unfortunately. And in a way, we should think of new and creative ways to be more connected to Eretz Israel. It's hard. My recommendation is not more news, more politics, more current events. No, it won't help you to really be connected to Eretz Israel. It's nice if you know what's going on, but following 3 elections in 1 year, and then coronavirus unity government, and then coronavirus crisis, that won't make you really more connected. It's okay, but it's like following what's going on in your elections in America, okay? Real connection to Eretz Israel is like the Lubavitcher Rebbe said. When he was asked, when he sent his shlichim all over the world, he told them, "Aseh et mekomcha Eretz Israel." Make it wherever you are. Make it into Eretz Israel. You should make it into Eretz Israel. And what is Eretz Israel? Is it politics, political agreements, peace agreements? Baruch Hashem, now the new agreement. Thank you for that. No. It means Eretz HaKodesh, Holy Land. Torah tells us Hashem is looking at this place. This specific place is the holiest place. Eretz HaKodesh. So whenever you do something holy, you're connected to the Holy Land. You don't see those strings that are created. That's the Lubavitcher Rebbe explained. whenever you're making a mitzvah. But whenever you're doing something holy, you're connected to the Holy Land. Whenever you go to shul or daven by yourself, whenever you go to shiur Torah or learn at home, whatever you do that is holy, tzedakah, chesed, tzniut, chagim, kashrut, whatever you do connects you to Eretz Israel. And I know how hard it is to be far away, not to be able to come. People told me we all always knew we had the opportunity to just book a flight, buy a ticket, and be there. Even though we didn't do it, but we had that opportunity. It was open, it was available. And now it's not. I know it makes people think about Aliyah. I know many people would come Bezrat Hashem, but we must be realistic. You have 6 or 7, 9 million Jews in the States. We need a real miracle in order to make them all come immediately. So yeah, Bezrat Hashem, more people will come. But what about the majority that will stay for now? How can we be more connected? And I really think, so A, everything holy that you do. B, learn about Eretz Israel. So many sources, so many things in our holy texts that are dealing with Eretz HaKodesh. Learn it. It's like you're here. And 3, stay connected to us. Be in touch. Call us. I think it's so important. We're brothers and sisters in two sides of that globe, so far away, but so close, so connected. Just to become friends. We have a project here in Israel, Mizrahi Movement, created a new project of communities speaking to each other on Zoom. One community from Israel, second community from the States. It makes people feel connected. Again, if you have friends, you have family, don't be shy. Call them. It's okay. We have time now. We're all at home. Unfortunately, I mean, yeah, people work, people go to work, people go to school, but life is so different. No concerts, no shows, no movies, less restaurants, and less events outside. You can definitely call them. They will love it. Be in touch with people of Eretz Israel. That's the third message. Israel. And that story, that woman, once again, simple stories. I promised simple things. That woman just told me to show her Eretz Israel. It made me realize that I take it for granted. I think, Eretz Israel, I wake up here every morning. I don't see it as such a holy, exciting place. So thank you for reminding us that we should be excited about the zchut of living here. I want to tell you, after sharing those 3 values, we spoke about chesed, we spoke about Torah. By the way, Torah is also chesed. Teaching someone Torah, it's the greatest chesed you can do. It's the greatest gift you can give them, teaching them Torah. Don't see it as separate things. Chesed is chesed and Torah is Torah. No. The best chesed is Torah. You let them know who they are. You help them realize who they are. I'm standing here today because 3 girls did this chesed with me when I was 15. I was 15, completely secular, very, very secular, grew up and knowing nothing about Orthodox Jews and about Judaism. And those 3 girls, they were teenagers, 15 years old, they invited me to come for Shabbat. They said, boy le Shabbat, come for Shabbos. And those 2 words, boy le Shabbat, changed my life. And I shared it with you. I shared my Teshuva story. I'm sure you all remember every detail, but I shared it with you when I was in your really beautiful community. But I think, once again, say it in a brief, short way, they cared about me, and that was the best chesed ever. They invited me. I fell in love with Shabbat, and the rest is history. Or maybe I should say the rest is my future. It's not my history. Baruch Hashem. So yeah, you can do creative chesed. You can do chesed when it comes to Torah and teach Jewish values. And when it comes to Eretz Israel, we should also think of new creative ways to connect ourselves to Eretz HaKodesh. I must tell you something at the end of the day. We're preparing ourselves for different prayers this year. Different prayers. It's going to be different, for sure. Us, we will pray. I think we'll daven here outside of that window in our house. There's like a yard, a kindergarten with toys and kids, with some grass and some. That's where we'll daven. We need to take care of the shadow to make it more easy, but more convenience. But that's it. That's it. We'll bring our machzorim, our chairs. Someone will bring shofar. That's it. We will sit, social distance, maybe 50 people, 60 people. That's it. So different, so weird, so much potential this year, especially this year. Nobody is working for us anymore. Nobody is doing things for us. No great chazanim, I imagine. Where's Chazan Helfgood this year? I don't know, but I guess in a small minyan. We are our chazanim. We take care of what we do. It's much more, I would say, the responsibility. We can't rely, oh, the Rav, the Chazan, the Shliach Tzibur, especially shuls in America are so organized. No, no. You should take care of yourself this year. It's your responsibility. Where do you daven? How do you daven? Prepare yourself. It's going to be different, completely different. Maybe it will be shorter. Yeah. Long prayers, long piyutim. Maybe we won't do it outside. It's sunny, it's hot. But it must be more meaningful. First of all, because we have a huge reason to daven this year. We say to Hashem this year, take this thing, take this curse away, uh, make it disappear. Um, we didn't even realize we can still feel so primitive in such an era. Okay, I thought those diseases are, they belong to the past. We're modern people. What's going on here? Please, shelach refuah, mena magefa. So many prayers, so many words in our sidurim, in our machzorim, that are, it looks like they were written for us this year. But it's not only this. I think in a way, the holiest prayer is Tfilat Kohen Gadol. When the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, he davens, he's all alone. He's in a way quarantined, isolated, all alone, social distance. When he goes there inside Kodesh HaKodeshim, it's the holiest place, the holiest person, the holiest timing, and the holiest day. Okay, it's the middle of the day, Yom Kippur, Kodesh HaKodeshim, Kohen Gadol. And he goes there. He davens for all of us. He's all alone. In a way, this year, we are Kohen Gadol. Anachnu Kohen Gadol. We're quite alone, quite quarantined. We're not in, big groups, communities, shuls like we used to. It's our responsibility. We should daven in a way for the whole world. Maybe our Kodesh HaKodeshim this year is this yard with some grass outside. Maybe our Kodesh HaKodeshim is outside of our shul. Maybe our Kodesh HaKodeshim is in our shul, but so different. People sit, so no mingling, no kiddush. I know the kiddush club in America, I saw it. I just imagine, how do you do it? No mingling, no chatting. It's the essence of your identity. Shul, socializing. It's the essence of so many things. And poof, it disappeared. Maybe our Kodesh HaKodeshim is in our living room, in our kitchen, with the kids this year, just us, and them with the machzor in our hand. Where in a way, we all become Kohen Gadol. It's our responsibility. We should be more independent. One of the rabbis of Hillel organization on campuses, also a great thing I first saw in America, all those Hillel houses and Chabad houses in all the campuses. He told me he used to host 200 students every Shabbat. He had huge meals, Shabbat meals. Now what? Zero. It's just him, his wife, the baby. That's it. He told me, I sent this video to all those, to hundreds of students on that campus, the dorms, some of them went back home. And I told them, now you become Shlichei Hillel. Now you become the boss. You decide, will there be Shabbat at your house? I can make Kiddush. Will you make it? Usually you come with like sweatshirts and sneakers, and I wear Shabbat clothes. Like I'm very, I look like it's Shabbat. Will you wear different clothes? I sing. You sing along. Now you have to sing. I daven. I do Kabbalat Shabbat, Kalibach songs. It's your decision. Will you do it now when you're alone? Will you prepare a nice meal or just pizza? Will you prepare yourself for Shabbat? Will you sit together with a small amount of people that are around you? But will you create your Shabbat? And I think about it for months since he shared that story, the beginning of that craziness. When he told me that, I didn't realize it will last so long. But yeah, we're all independent now. It's our responsibility. We're all shluchim. It's our mission right now. And we're all, in a way, Kohen Gadol. We must take care of our spiritual journey. Nobody's doing it for us right now. We can't depend and rely on others. They're not here. Maybe it's one of the messages Hashem is, in a way, sending to us right now. It's you. You become a leader. Don't be passive. Be active. Don't be a spectator. Don't be a fan. Be a player. We must be players if we want to win that game. I wish you, Be'ezrat Hashem, a lot of chesed, a lot of Torah, a lot of great connection to Israel. I wish you great, בעזרת השם, great חגים, ראש השנה, יום כיפור, סוכות, שמחת תורה, בעזרת השם. May you find meaning in those weird חגים this year. And בעזרת השם, may we meet here in ירושלים, eventually, בגאולה האמיתית והשלמה. Final redemption. שנה טובה ומתוקה. I think we never said it with so much כוונה, with so much meaning. שנה טובה. תכלה שנה וקללותיה. May all the curses disappear and end. תחל שנה וברכותיה. May a new year with lots of blessings begin. בעזרת השם. להתראות.